So, our today's topic of discussion is climate, chapter 4, class 9, NCRT geography. Okay, so the first thing when we talk about climate is the Indian type of climate. That is, India has a monsoon type of climate, right? We all know that. What does this monsoon means? It means rainfall. In one sentence, if we talk about monsoon, it means rainfall. When do we have rainfall? We mostly have rainfall from June to September, right? So what is happening right now is basically the monsoon rainfall. In the next 10-15 minutes, I'll roughly cover up the chapter. So the first thing which is important from here is the difference between climate and weather. Basically, climate talks about the weather conditions for a long period of time, that is more than 30 years or even 35-40 years. Whereas weather talks about any regional or let's say regional variation or any kind of local weather. It can be let's say summer somewhere, rainy somewhere, dry somewhere, cloudy somewhere. So weather keeps on changing from time to time very frequently, okay, periodically, depending on the current circumstances of that particular area. Another important question which comes is regional variations of temperature and rainfall. So if the question comes that discuss the regional variation in temperature across the Indian subcontinent, then the answer will be when we talk about temperature, Rajasthan has a desert type of climate which has very high temperature, 50 degrees Celsius. Whereas we talk about Jammu Kashmir, Dras, it has temperature which can go to as minus 45 degrees Celsius as well. Whereas in Tiruvananthapuram has a maritime type of climate. Why maritime? Because it has a coastal location, therefore influence of the sea. Again, question can come about distribution of rainfall. We know that Rajasthan is a dry area. Why? Because of third desert, it has less than 10 centimeter of rainfall in Ladakh, and when you talk about Rajasthan, it will be less than 25 centimeter of rainfall. Okay. Again, when we talk about Meghalaya, on the other hand, we know Mawsynram, Cherrapunji. We have come across these words when in younger classes. Mawsynram Cherrapunji has a rainfall of more than 1200 centimeter annually. Right? Okay. These are important factors from here. Next, when we talk about controlling factors of climate, we have latitude, altitude, pressure and wind system, ocean currents, effect of continentality. Okay, so when we talk about, let's come directly to latitude over here. Latitude, it says that if this is India and we have Tropic of Cancer from here, then this part region of the India has a tropical kind of climate, whereas this part has temperate kind of climate. But overall, if the question says whether India has a tropical type of climate or not, then yes, India does have a tropical type of climate. Cool. Done? Okay. Next, when we talk about altitude, it says that Himalaya has an average height of 6,000 meters, and India has also a very vast coastal areas where the maximum elevation is 30 meters. The Himalayas prevent the cold winds from Central Asia from entering the subcontinent. It is because of these mountains that subcontinent experiences comparatively mild winters as compared to Asia. So, question comes role of Himalaya as a climatic barrier. So, when we talk about that, we need to Okay, so pardon my drawing, but roughly this is the map of India. We have Himalayas running from here, we have Western Ghats over here, we have Eastern Ghats over here, we have Aravalis over here. So this is Himalayas, this is Aravalis, this is Western Ghats, this is Eastern Ghats. So we are talking about Himalayas over here. So Himalaya has two roles in the climatic system of India. One, it prevents the cold Siberian winds from entering the Indian subcontinent. And another is Himalaya, the monsoon winds travel from this direction. Himalaya prevents the monsoon winds from leaving India. It basically acts as a barrier to the monsoon winds and thereby giving rainfall to the subcontinent of India. So altitude done. Next, if we move ahead, we talk about pressure and wind system. Okay, there is something called the apparent movement of the sun. Now, what is that? If this is my equator, this is the Tropic of Cancer, and this is the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so it is believed that the sun moves from Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn. For the whole year, the Sun has its position moving from Cancer to Capricorn, again Capricorn to Cancer. This is called the apparent movement of the Sun. Why apparent? Because we know that the Sun is not moving. It's the Earth which is moving, and since we are moving, for us it seems that the Sun is moving, but in reality Sun is not moving. That's why the word apparent and not real. Okay? Okay. So, what happens? When Sun moves towards the Tropic of Cancer during the summer season, the pressure belt system moves towards the Tropic of Cancer. Again, when the Sun comes down during the winter season to the Tropic of Capricorn, the pressure belt system comes down towards the south. Clear? We will need this in the later half of this chapter. Next, if we move ahead, okay, we have something called the distance from the sea. What is the distance from the sea? India has a co- India has a peninsular location. So we have Kerala over here, we have Mumbai over here, we have Chennai over here. So all these experiences maritime type of climate, and we have Delhi over here, which experiences continental type of climate. Now, what are the difference between continental and maritime? Pardon my handwriting. Now, whenever there is an influence from the sea, it has a maritime type of climate. Why? Let's talk about Chennai. So in Chennai, the summer season has a temperature of about 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. And even in winter season, the temperature ranges around, let's say, 20 degrees Celsius. So there is not much of a difference between the highest and lowest temperature. Right? Why does this happen? And we are talking about Chennai, mind it. Because it is nearer to the sea, it has a coastal location. It has an equable type of climate. But if we talk about Delhi, in Delhi we have temperatures of minus 2 to 3 degrees Celsius in winter as well, and in summer season the temperature can go up to as high as 50 degrees Celsius, right? So this is called continental type of climate. So distance from the sea affects the climatic variation of a particular place. So you read this portion, you will understand. Okay. Next, if we talk about, we have something called the seasons. Now, before we move on to the seasons, let's get back to the map of India and let's understand what happens during the seasons of summer and winter. Okay. Before that, let's understand something. What happens during summer? Summer, we have high temperature on land and we have low pressure. On the other hand, we have high pressure on the sea. Hence, what happens? All the winds move from high pressure to low pressure. And this phenomena is called southwest monsoon winds. The opposite or the reverse happens during the winter months. What happens during the winter months? We have low temperature on land, but we have high pressure. Similarly, we have low pressure on the ocean system, and hence winds move from land to sea. This is called retreating monsoon, and this is called southwest monsoon. This is occurring in the winter season. I hope it's clear. So, if we read all the paragraphs, we'll understand what is happening during these seasons. Let's take an example of cold weather season. The cold weather season here says the northeast trade winds prevail over the country. This is what we call as northeast trade winds or retreating monsoon. Okay. Now, there is an exception. Some amount of rainfall occurs in Tamil Nadu coast from these winds as they blow from land to sea. Let's understand this point. Now, when we talk about southwest monsoon, since it is moving over the ocean, it has a lot of moisture content and it gives rainfall to the Indian subcontinent. But during the winter months, when the pressure belt system moves towards Tropic of Capricorn, the trade winds will retreat from the land to the sea region, and here it is dry. Why? Because it has shed all the moisture in the subcontinent. It has given all the possible rainfall. It has all the possible moisture content it has shed off, and it is now retreating. Now, what happens is only one branch of this retreating monsoon or northeast monsoon passes over Bay of Bengal, and it picks up moisture from the Bay of Bengal and gives rainfall to the coast of Tamil Nadu. Understandable? This is what is written in the next paragraph. Okay, this is important. Rabi crops. What is written over here? This is important for give reason questions. Okay. Question comes that India receives rainfall, winter rainfall in the northwestern region. And why? It happens because of low pressure system originating over the Mediterranean Sea, and this happens because of regional variations. It originates in the Mediterranean Sea, it moves towards India and gives rainfall in the Punjab Haryana plains, which is useful for Rabi crops, means the winter crops. Okay. Next, when we talk about hot season, in the summer months, we have rising temperature, falling air pressure towards the end, a low pressure system develops, and the circulation begins to sit in through this trough. Trough means a system of low pressure. Okay. The local wind system in the month of summer months, we have Lu, we have Kalboisakhi in West Bengal, we have mango showers in Karnataka and Kerala. Now, the part which is important is advancing monsoon. The low pressure system over the northern plains intensifies. Just that I explained this one. Low pressure here, low pressure intensifies in the subcontinent of India. Low pressure intensified, it attracts the trade winds of the southern hemisphere. These southeast trade winds originate over the warm subtropical areas of the southern oceans. They cross the equator and blow in the southwesterly direction. Now, why does this happen? Because of something called the Coriolis force. What does Coriolis force say? Coriolis force say that if this is the equator, this is the southern hemisphere, this is the northern hemisphere. If wind traveling from southern hemisphere to northern hemisphere will move to the right of their direction, and wind moving from northern hemisphere to southern hemisphere will move to the left of the direction. It was supposed to go in this direction, but it will move towards this direction. This is called Coriolis force or Farrell's law. Okay. Okay. Now, what is happening over here? Let's understand. The wind, this is the equator, okay? The wind was traveling like this. On crossing the equator, due to Coriolis force, it deflects towards the right of their path and enters India as southwest monsoon. That's why the name southwest, because it is coming from the southwest. We name the winds from the origin. Next, if we talk about Coriolis force done, southwest monsoon done. Yes, this is important that Moss syndrome in the southern ranges of the Khasi Hills receive the highest average rainfall in the world. Rainfall in the Ganga Valley decreases from the east to the west. Why does it decrease from the east to the west? We need to understand. Let's make a fresh map. Okay. Now, winds are coming from this direction, the Bay of Bengal branch of southwest monsoon winds, they are shedding rainfall over here. And as they move towards the west, moisture content decreases. That's why winds traveling from east to west has decreases their moisture content and rainfall also decreases. This comes as a give reason as well. Next we have another phenomena which is associated is break in monsoon and burst in monsoon. We have two different concepts. Break means it has wet and dry spells. Means let's say what happens is monsoon. So 2 hours we have rainfall, another 2 hours we don't have rainfall. So similar to that concept. Let's move forward. There is something called the retreating or post monsoon, what we are explaining as northeast monsoon. Similar to that, what happens is the southwest monsoon winds weaken and start withdrawing gradually. By the beginning of October, the monsoon withdraws from the northern plains. Okay, another important question which might come for 5 marks is the distribution of rainfall. Though not so much in recent years, but still distribution of rainfall, as I discussed earlier as well. In part of Western Rajasthan, it is less than 60 centimeter. In third desert region, it is less than 25 centimeter. Wherever on the other hand, in northeastern region, we have 1,000 centimeter plus rainfall. Okay, there's something called the Sahyadris. What are the Sahyadris? Western Ghats are locally known as Sahyadris. Okay, okay. So overall, we are wrapping up climate for today. For a detailed discussion, we can have separate videos for this. And thank you.